Yeah. So tonight I'm coming to you from the house of sickness. I'm sitting here. So anyway, I'm probably not gonna be overly energetic because I got some kind of whatever bug. Anyway, we have some special guests on tonight. Well, I don't know that they're special. I mean, technically speaking, I think they are special. Maybe short bus special. I don't know. Wait, that's not politically correct, is it? Oh, damn. Anyway, but before we bring them on here, huge shout out to our sponsors. Uh, these knuckleheads that are coming on tonight, the Overland Essentials, Chad from Overland Attic, and of course Midland USA, which they've had a killer sale going on. If y'all hadn't got on that, you've missed out. But anyway, so how about we bring my partner in crime here, Michael?
Hey, you know what you don't do with your 575 Midland radio?
Plug it into the cigarette lighter.
That's the one. You don't do that.
Yeah.
It does not like it.
Pulls a little too much juice, I think.
Pops and starts burning up. But the fine folks at Midland, and even in the error of my own ways, has said, "Hey, look, you're an idiot. We're going to go ahead and send you another one." So I've got it sitting right here.
Yeah.
So just got to get that actually wired into the truck this time. You know, it just fit into the little attachment to go into the cigarette lighter like my 275 did. So I thought, no big deal. I wasn't thinking
Right.
about how much more power it pulls.
Well,
So,
live
and learn.
happens, right? I know,
Live and learn.
right?
So we're going to get that wired up. And man, it's been Sugar Creek Loop was fun. I've got a bunch of videos out by that. And then the most recent video, Best of the Sugar Creek Loop, my daughter did the editing for that after, grabbing some of the videos that I did and chopped it up a little bit and put some music to it. And I think she did a really good job. I was pretty proud of her.
I think she did a really good job for her first one. It was really good. Tell her the only thing she needs to do is have less of you in the video.
That's yes. And then she got, of course, me walking back down, and I was like, dude, you see my big fat belly? Like, what are we doing here? Why are we showing this? You should take care of your pops.
Our chat's blowing up. Hello to everybody out there. Yes.
Hey, everybody out there. Yep.
We got Michael Gonzalez. He hasn't been on here in a while, so it's good to see him. Chad hasn't been on here. Yeah, Chad hasn't been on here. And then we got our Okie Rover and Jeremiah from Overland Pioneer. So thanks for joining us amongst them and everybody else. So what do you say we
you're not feeling good? Well, let's hit this real quick.
I got 101 temperature.
101
right now.
temperature. Man.
Yeah, we had 22 people at our Thanksgiving event, and 4 of us have now gotten sick. So first,
why you got to eat first before everybody else sneezes and puts their hands in all the food. You got to get your plate ready.
The first one was one of the little crumb snatchers, and then it just evolves from there. They sniffle and snot and touch everything, and geez. Anyway, that's all. It's all good. I got a fever and I ache and I a little stuffy, but other than that, at least I'm not like praying to the porcelain god or something. So I'm cool with that.
Right on. Yeah, I'm getting over a bad cough I've had for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Took all my medicine, still coughing, so don't really know what's going on. Don't have COVID. Wow. Took the test, went to the doctor. He's like, honestly, anybody that tells you you have COVID doesn't really know, because the tests aren't really that effective. People are testing positive or negative for flu, positive or negative for bronchitis and strep, and it's all looking the same. So anyway, that's my little stuff on that. So let's bring the boys out. We got Brian and Levi with the Overland Essentials. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, fellas?
What's
Levi,
up?
Levi, you look a little bit better.
Yeah.
Kind of adjusted the lighting there. It was awful in the beginning.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
So for those of you that don't know, Levi had the surgery not too long ago, so we're glad to see him back up. And
we heard it really wasn't that bad, and he was just bitching and being a baby.
Well, he had a
I don't know
hysterectomy.
who would have said that. I don't,
Yeah.
You know, that takes a little while to get over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happened. He had to get an extra stitch put into the back door.
Yeah, it was a little loose.
Yeah.
When he
Keep
farted, he
going.
kind of
That was,
he sharted.
hey,
Did you guys have all this planned
that
while I
extra
was late
stitch
trying to
was
get
not
on
my
here?
request. That was Mandy's
Listen,
request.
Brian's
Yeah,
the one that Brian beat you in here, and he's the one that said to do it.
Oh, I know. I figured.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
I thought so. I remember when Brian had his knee surgery, he acted like a little bitch too. So
I don't remember.
yeah, he was
Exactly.
he was at Moore. He was.
No, I don't
He wouldn't
remember.
even stand up to greet people.
They don't
He'd just sit
remember.
there
Boy,
on
I was slinging products at Moore with.
I don't remember.
All I remember,
Pain, buddy.
all I remember at Moore is
remember
him.
that I turned around and all the fridges were gone.
Oh, that was this past year. Yeah, he wasn't.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wasn't gimped up this past year.
Oh,
He
this
was
past
alive.
year he wasn't gimped up.
In
It
my
was 2 years ago.
defense, last year it was in February, and my knee replacement was in January. So literally, there was 3 weeks. So I kind of had an excuse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever.
Well, let's dive into. We've got a lot to talk about because we got vehicles to talk about, all that kind of stuff. But everybody out there kind of has a hankering of what's going on or an idea of what's going on. Tell us what's been going on. You guys have some changes that are coming about. You had some big sales going on this last month. So tell us what is going on with the Overland Essentials.
Go ahead, Brian. I talked too much last time, and he got on to me, so I'm going to let him.
Well, so the Overland Essentials is officially closed down in Lenexa, Kansas. We shut the shop down. I actually turn in the keys and stuff tomorrow. We're moving everything up to Colorado Springs, up where Levi's at, and the business focus is shifting. And our plan next year, and we'll talk a little bit about the shows that we already have lined up, which are going to be some big announcements, but we're shifting the business focus a little bit next year to changing things up. And we're going to be doing a bunch of Overland shows all the way out in California. We're going to be all over the country next year, starting in February. And that's going to be our focus. And, you know, me and Levi we spent a lot of time talking about it. And we didn't close the Lenexa shop because it wasn't successful. We closed the Lenexa shop because, well, thank you, Okie Rover. I appreciate that. We shut that down to change it up because me and Levi, we really like doing shows, man. Like I like being at Overland shows. Me and Levi like traveling, and the setting at a brick and mortar 5 days a week, man, it just wasn't. I would rather be on the road and going to shows. And
well, let's tell everybody that you guys have been separated the whole time anyway. Yeah, I mean, he's been in Colorado pretty much this whole time, so it's not like logistically where you live is like that whole thing has changed. So it's just kind of gonna move on, gonna make some changes that are actually better for you and for being able to get us kind of the best deals, probably.
Well,
so
go ahead.
I'll jump in on this, Brad. Like one of the biggest things, with me being in Colorado and retiring from the military this summer is being able to be together and focus on the business together. You know what I mean? Yeah. Usually it was Brian, sitting at that shop and it's numbing to him. Every time I talk to him about wanting to go somewhere or do something, he's kind of out of it. And I think mentally, you know what I mean? It just kind of drains you. And I've seen that with Brian over the past year and a half. Even though he hasn't had a rig the whole time, he could have still come out, or we could have went and did trips. And that's what he kept saying, man, I wish I could go do a trip. I wish I could do some trips and but I got to close the store for a week. Now, with that being said, and moving stuff to Colorado, he's still going to have a huge part of the business in Parkville. All of our logistics and stuff will come out of Parkville, Kansas, or Missouri, wherever state it is. And then all of our retail sales and prepping for these shows will come out of Colorado.
Yeah.
80% of our shows that we'll be attending is West Coast. So we thought, why store
add
everything in
18
Kansas or
hours to a
Missouri?
trip? You know,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, hauling trailer, hauling gear, hauling
Right.
all that stuff. Just get a little bit closer to where the things are happening. Especially if you're, and you guys haven't completely figured out or decided what's going to happen in Colorado yet. You're still in that transition phase, as far as what Overland Essentials is going to look like in Colorado. So still working on some of that logistically and trying to figure out what's works the best for you guys, and being able to keep the gear in one place and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we'll have more information on that as it goes, but just wanted to make sure that we address that you can still get a hold of you guys through email, through Facebook, through all the different things. Website, we've been talking about this website for a damn year now. Should be coming out soon, maybe.
I mean, a lot of the product is up and running. I still got to add some stuff.
Not it.
And then I still got to add some more product.
Not it.
Yeah, not it.
That's your problem.
Anyway, but the product line is on there. I think we're still, Lee and I actually talked quite a few times about some layout stuff, but I think we need to get on the ball and get that running. I think our goal was October. So we're a full month behind. I don't think it's going to take much longer.
The thing with the website, though, in our defense with the website, websites are not cheap. One, if you get like a full blown, or if you don't have, your own knowledge of web design and stuff like that, we're learning as we go. We don't know that stuff. You all right, buddy?
He's dying.
I'm living.
He's dying. He's gonna die on the show.
Having a hot flash.
We don't viral because he dies.
I'm surprised he got sick, man. Stuff. All that filtration on his face.
That thing just catches germs, man.
Levi's jealous.
Boogers.
Levi's jealous. It took him about 2 months just to get a little peach fuzz.
Dude, I've been growing this since I retired, and I still can't get one. So, you want to talk about jealousy? I'm the one that's jealous.
Too funny.
Like with the websites, our first website, we were in a hurry to get it. So we rushed and we allowed corners to get cut and just to get it out there. And then, the last one, we were working with some different people and there were some things that didn't pan out, but we didn't really know a whole lot about it. This one's taken as long as it's taken because we don't want to launch, pardon my French, a shit product, really. We just don't want to get something out there just to get it out there and then cut corners on it. So we're taking our time and making sure that we do it right this time.
Gotcha. And, and I mean, I hope that with this new process of the way you're going to start doing things is that maybe there'll be more Overland Essential trips, and different things, gatherings or different things like that you guys can work on that we could help you be a part of and and spend some more time out doing what we talk about.
Well, Levi can actually kind of talk about a trip that's possibly in the works.
Yeah, we're actually going out right after Thanksgiving, right after Christmas, the 26th. We're going to go out and scout some areas. And we're going to work on something this summer, probably 2 trips, Overland Essentials event, and we're going to go out and have some destinations, I guess should say, in Colorado Springs, or in Colorado in general. Basically, we'll start in Colorado Springs and work our way either west or southwest or something. But we've been scouting out some areas, some routes. A good friend of mine, Darren Shepard, he's a guru on Gaia, so he's been helping us build a route. And I think we got a pretty good 7 day route already planned through not your typical adventure route. It's a lot of destination locations, I should say. We're probably most epic campsites in Colorado is basically what it is.
Gotcha.
So there is a little bit of road, hardball, but I mean, I think we did 250 miles this past summer scouting, and I think 60 miles of it was hardball.
Right on. Okay, so that gets some of the business kind of stuff. I say business, some of the changes, but let's talk about some of the events that that you're going to be going to in 2023. So whichever one wants to jump in first, kind of give us an idea of what events we can see you at and how that came about, and maybe what companies you'll be working with or helping push product for.
So we're partnered up with Gazelle Tents for some representation for them at events that they're not going to be going to. They go to the 4 big ones.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to be going to a bunch of other shows. So we're partnered up with Gazelle Tents for that. We're obviously we have our thing with Dometic. And now we're on with Rhino Rack to do additional representation for Rhino Rack at these events that they don't all make it to. Those are the three big companies right now that we're really kind of set up with to go to these events. We're working with some others, still in the talks. We just haven't got all that worked out yet. But those are the 3 main ones that we're doing right now. And our first event is a huge one. We're actually officially going to be at King of the Hammers in February.
That is so cool.
We will be at King of the Hammers. We already got our booth space locked in.
We'll have a 40 by 30 booth,
40 by
right
60.
next to the big 40 by 30 foot deep.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
40 by 30 booth right next to the big fire pit at KOH. We have a couple other companies that are coming in. Rustic Mountain trailers. They're going to bring in a trailer.
That's
we're going to
Drew,
represent.
right?
Yep. We're going to have
Drew.
We're going to have those guys out there, and we're going to have a big we're going to be repping huge for Rhino Rack, Dometic, and Gazelle out there, and
gotcha.
It was an act of a miracle, basically trying to get that booth. I know I was on the phone for about 5 hours on the way to Grand Junction to pick up a Jeep, and the whole time basically on the phone trying to get space.
Hey, did you say Jeep?
Yeah, I was like, pick up a Jeep.
You know why God created Toyotas, right? Because Jeeps need heroes too.
Huh?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm still a Jeep fan by heart. I currently have 3 in my driveway right now.
It's okay. It's one of those things that,
man, even Trail Recon's getting away from Jeeps. They just got a Tacoma pickup truck. The son picked up a Tacoma TRD Pro, and they just announced that today or yesterday or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's his son's vehicle. Just got back from deployment, I guess.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with them.
I have nothing against Toyotas. I've owned a few. I will own more.
I don't have anything against them all, really. I just like to harass people.
That's true.
So
matter of fact, go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry, I got getting off track. I was like, we went and looked at the new TRD Pro Sequoia.
Oh man,
that's pretty cool looking.
That is sharp.
It was a very sharp looking truck. Yeah. And
$80,000.
If I could talk Mama into one of those instead of a Grand Wagoneer.
Well, it's $20,000 in a Grand Wagoneer, so that'd be the way to talk her into.
Jeez.
But it's still $80,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's gotten ridiculous. Car prices are just dumb.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't think that. We pulled over to look at a couple, and I'll be damned if the window sticker wasn't $80,000. We were both like, God bless.
Well, when you guys get to King of the Hammer and Drew's there, I'm going to tell you a little secret about Drew. You ready for this? The guy is a rolling whiskey liquor cabinet. I swear, the guy's holy shit.
Mandatory whiskey shots right now. Come on, do it. Time to do
it. So when you see him, tell him he needs to pull out all that whiskey. It's up on the top shelf.
Done. I'll do that. I'll get along with Greg.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what have you guys figured out about rigs? I know that there's been a lot of conversation about what you guys are doing about rigs. What has been ultimately decided?
Well, Brian has decided to keep the Bronco after we vigorously put an IUCAB on his brand spanking new ZR2 Colorado.
I sold that with the alley cab on it.
Actually. Dude, Lee can't get rid of his. Good job.
Sorry, and I'm sticking with the Ranger.
Yours has all that goose gear shit in it. Mine doesn't. That's probably why. Nothing. Oh, I thought you had goose gear in it.
I hadn't done anything to it, just the alley cab. But
damn,
I found a couple that wanted to get into Overland, and they got. I mean, it's actually people we know, but they want to get into overlanding, and
great platform for them.
It's a hell of a great start.
Yeah.
Her husband got a really good job.
Gonna be kind of spoiled.
They had the money to spend, and I was like, bro, like, come check this thing out, man. This thing literally is a great platform. It's a perfect start. He wanted to get a truck anyway, and they came and looked at it, and they fell in love with it, and they bought it. And I was like, man, thank God, because I couldn't afford the Bronco payment in that. So
now, Brian, you were talking about selling the Bronco.
I was this close.
And then,
the whole time that was
then you got the Bronco, and you were like, ooh. So what was it about the Bronco that you were just like, I got to keep it?
You know, and I talked to my wife a lot about it. If I would have had an email that my Bronco was being built, I would have never went and bought the Colorado ZR2.
Okay.
So if I'd have known that my Bronco was coming, I would have never went and got the truck. I was Bronco the whole way for the last year. Levi had been trying to talk me into getting a truck and shit for a year now. And I was like, nope, I'm sticking it out. I'm going to do the Bronco. And I think I got to a point where I was tired of not having a rig. And then I did see a full size with an IU cab in it. I remember looking at Lee's and I was like, yeah, it's a badass platform, man. Let me just do that. I knew of a Chevy ZR2 brand new in the color of the sand dune metallic that I liked in Leavenworth for sale. I drove down there and looked at it and I bought it that day and drove it back. And my wife was like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, well, just,
bear with me.
Just listen. Just listen.
Like, and then 2 weeks later, I'm driving to Colorado and I come back with an IU cab. And she's like, oh my God. And then literally like the day before I drove to Colorado to get the IU cab, I got an email from Ford saying your Bronco's being built. And I'm like, oh my God, man, you gotta be shitting me. And literally, I've heard people complain over and over and over, like their Bronco got built and then Ford would send an email saying, we're working on, your Bronco's built. We're working on shipping. And then their shipping would get delayed like month after month after month. I'm telling you, I got an email like on a Monday that it was being built. I got an email on like Friday that it was built and being shipped. And then on Wednesday, the following week, I got a phone call from the dealership saying, hey, we have your Bronco. So like they didn't waste any time with that. And I was like, holy shit. But, I went and saw it and obviously instantly fell in love with it. I mean, it's a beautiful Bronco. The color is discontinued now, actually. The Desert Tan is discontinued.
Really?
Already, yeah. And the Everglades is beautiful. I love the square fender flares, but I drove it. It rides so nice. It's extremely comfortable. And after I got it, I was just like, man, I really don't want to get rid of it. Like this was my plan all along.
Yeah.
And I had a whole build planned out for it. And so I talked to my wife and got it worked out with the truck and decided, and I had to talk to Levi because we had some different plans because I was going to have, I had a truck and I could pull a trailer with product. And he was like, no, man, I'm keeping my truck. Like I ain't changing my shit. So I'll pull the stuff, but no big deal. So I decided to keep the Bronco, man. And it's going to be a fun build.
Yeah.
And that would have worked out great. Our plan would have worked out great until we started getting like shows like King of the Hammers. Now where we have to have like a semi truck full of shit, and my little Ranger's not going to work out very well.
We're still working that out, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, that's part of the logistics. But yeah, and so he's keeping that Bronco. I'm in love with my little Ranger.
Ranger Raptor.
It works really well. It gets really crappy gas mileage now. With the IU cab and all that stuff on it. But I read somewhere if you add that little roof rack or something to fill that void up, it'll actually, the fuel mileage will get a little bit better. But yeah.
What kind of mileage you getting out of it?
Like really low, 10.5.
That's because Levi likes to listen to his blow off valve, so he just guns it every 5 seconds, man.
No, if I keep it like around town and like matter of fact in the mountains, it gets really good gas mileage. Just around here in Colorado, I'm averaging 17, 18.
Oh my
fully
gosh.
loaded.
What are you complaining about?
No, but then I get on I-70 and hit 72 miles an hour, and it drops down to about 10.5.
We'll just stay
Just
at
that
60.
flat. Even 60, it doesn't. I get the same fuel mileage at 60 and 75. It doesn't really matter.
Really?
Now, I did get behind a semi truck
That
for about
helps.
2.5 hours right before we're on our way down to Kansas City for Thanksgiving. And I got up to about 21 miles per gallon at 70 miles an hour. So
Man, I don't want to hear about it. My Nissan is horrible. Like I get
what's it
13, I get 13, about 13.5 around town. And then whenever I was pulling that Opus trailer 2 years ago to Colorado for Overland Mountain West, I was getting 9. And we had to slow down to
I was getting 9 without a trailer.
we had to slow
Dude,
we had to slow down to 60 miles an hour just so I wouldn't have to fill up 3 tanks of gas to every one of Lee's. It was ridiculous.
Oh, it's miserable, especially with that little 20-gallon tank we have. Like, it's miserable. Like, I mean, and you don't think about it. Like, I drove a Power Stroke, F-250 to Grand Junction and back, and I had to put gas in it once.
Yeah,
pulling a Jeep, you know what I mean, through the mountains. Yeah, and I wasn't getting great gas mileage in it. It was just the fact that it has like a 50-gallon tank or something. I don't know what they have, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
I was getting 17 and a half in that ZR2 with that alley cab on there.
Mm-hmm.
A 3.6 liter gas is, I mean, even in the ZR2 is good. I mean, it still did really well. I still think the alley cab looks better on the Ranger. I think the alley cab on the Ranger looks phenomenal.
I do too. I get about 22, 23. If I keep it down about 63, 64, I can push that up into 25.
But I mean, my Bronco's getting 18 and a half. I'm averaging 18 and a half with 35s on it. I mean,
so what's the plan with the Bronco? What are you going to do? Are you going to do the Ursa Minor kind of thing, or
still doing Ursa Minor? I got a full goose gear kit on order.
Okay,
I'm waiting on that to come in. I'm actually talking with John at Ursa Minor Vehicles. I've been on the phone with him a lot over the last few months, talking about. I mean, I don't want in any way, shape, or form. Like, we're not sponsored by Ursa Minor or anything. I just love the Ursa Minor, and I like talking with John. And I don't know if he's going to go with it, but we've been chatting about some different ideas and things that he could add to the Ursa Minor to make it more user friendly and stuff like that. If you're really weathering some bad storms, there's some issues with the old Ursa Minor design that, if you're getting a lot of rain, the rain will start to puddle up because the mesh is on the outside and the canvas is on the inside. And when it rains a lot coming in that angle, it starts to seep into the zipper and it starts to puddle in there and it starts to leak through. But that's because the canvas is on the inside. So that way you can unzip it and have your mesh, your window. So I'm trying to see if I can convince him to add like a rain fly that can zip down, put a couple window poles on the end of that and really fix that problem. And he's working on it. But I don't know when the Ursa is going to be out for that. Last I talked to him, he's hoping before Expo West. He'd like to have some down there at Expo West. But we're working with them. We're trying to figure out something so when the Bronco's out there and it gets some attention and stuff like that, we can still work some stuff out with him. It's going to be sweet, man. I'm super excited about it, though. I
think that top would make the Bronco a game changer. I mean, I already think that it's a pretty big game changer right now, but I think it would take it up to another level. That I mean, the Jeep with an Ursa Minor on it is unbelievable.
Well, if it's just two of you and a small dog and stuff like that, it's literally the perfect platform.
Yeah. I
mean, it sets up in 20 seconds and, you can get in and out of it from inside of the vehicle. It's plenty of room for 2 people. Now, if you're a family of 4, there's no way in hell that would ever work. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and
most rooftop tents don't either.
Bronco it's just me and my wife and our small dog, Reggie.
Yeah.
I mean, we really like that platform on the Jeep, and that's another reason we decided to stick with the Bronco. I think it'll be an attention getter.
Mm-hmm. For
I
sure.
do too. Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm
So,
excited
Bronco,
about it.
I got my little Ranger.
Yeah. So what are we doing with the Ranger? What are the plans with that? What have you done with it, or what are you going to do?
So I'm almost
down the line?
done. So we did the alley cab. We built out the back, kind of a DIY, put floors in and storage areas. Working on it this weekend to do a diesel heater port through the actual cab and vent it into the living area. What else?
Which diesel heater?
I got a refill.
Amazon special.
Okay.
Amazon special diesel heater. I think I paid like $125 on it.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy. I was gonna do the fireplace that
The Marine
Dickinson
kind of thing.
yeah, the
It's
Dickinson.
Dickinson. Yeah.
The only thing that steered me clear of the fireplace is I want heat in other places. Like we have that big Gazelle G6 Deluxe.
Makes
God.
perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to be able to vent it into the gazebo.
Sure.
And then my son, we are a family of 4. He's 17, has got his own little XJ that we're building out. We just put a CFX 45 in it and kind of built a platform in the back of his XJ. We're just going to do a mild lift on it, 32s, a roof rack, and keep that pretty subtle. But he enjoys doing it, like driving himself now.
Sure.
Good.
He likes getting involved. It's his little XJ's got 1 million miles on it. It's beat up, you know what I mean, but it runs good and he loves it, and he can bring his friends, and he prefers sleeping in a Gazelle tent now. So in the winter with that diesel heater, they have the splitters now. We could split it into his tent. And that was kind of my way of thinking as far as heat goes. And we're going to be using it, in 3 weeks we'll be out, and we're 2 feet of snow camping. We got some areas that we already know there's pretty good snowpack that we're going to hit up for that week, and hopefully see what deep snow camping's all about.
Hey, look, I just saw Chad post on there that he wants a Bronco with the 2.7. Just real quick, the Everglades only comes with the 2.3 liter, and I'll be honest with you, the 2.3 is more than enough.
Really?
Dude, I'm getting 315 horsepower, 300 and something pound-feet of torque. I can go 80 miles an hour down the interstate and get 18 miles to the gallon and still pass people. I've been super impressed with that 2.3 liter, man.
Well,
Now,
my truck's got the 2.3 also.
Now, it definitely sounds like a 4-cylinder. I mean, there's no oomph to it at all. It does not. It sounds like a pansy-ass car going down the road. But I'm not I got to hear it just rumble type of person anyway. I mean, but honestly, I've been super impressed with that 2.3 liter, man. So I've heard a lot of people say, well, I would get it if I could get the 2.7. I've driven the 2.7 and I don't really notice the difference.
Small trailer. Hey, Chad, just to give you an idea, I don't know if you saw me at Rendezvous. My Ranger's got the 2.3, an Alu cab, ARBs, on 33s, and I pulled a 7,000-pound trailer or 6,500-pound trailer to the Rendezvous.
Couldn't do that in the Toyota.
Nope.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
And I did the Red Arc brakes and everything on it, and in the bad weather, like when we first left Kansas City, it was raining. Wasn't great weather, so I kept it pretty low, you know what I mean? But once I got down to like Bentonville, Arkansas, when that road opens up, and I was cruising, man. 80 miles an hour up and down the hills. It was fine. The 2.3 is plenty of power. If you think about it, 300 and something horsepower was a lot of horsepower 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's still 110 horsepower more than the 3.6 liter Pentastar in a Jeep. I've never driven something with that much horsepower.
I mean,
sports car or something.
most half-ton trucks, the 5.7, they were most half-ton Chevy pickups, and they weren't even at 300
285, 275 horsepower.
horsepower. Yeah. I mean,
from factory anyway.
In factory, and you're dealing with like, I have more power and torque than a 2015 Chevy 1500.
Time for a drink. Chris says time for a drink. Chris Moore Expo. Time for a drink.
Here's to Chris. Have you guys seen the numbers on the new Colorados? They've released them today.
Unreal.
Man.
What are they?
400.
Let's see. Wait a minute. Where am I at? 310 horsepower at 5,600 RPM, 400 foot-pound of torque at 2,000 RPM with
That's
a
ridiculous.
2.7 turbo high output. Yeah. Now, if you get the high output, it's 430 foot-pounds of torque.
And then 400 horsepower in the ZR2.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a question.
Rivian still makes more power.
So I have a question. Now, if you guys were to be in the market for a new truck next year, would you look at a Ford Ranger Raptor or the new Z? I like the AT4X.
I like the GMC. Looks better than the new Colorado does.
I
does.
agree.
I think the new Colorado looks like a Tacoma.
It kind of does.
It does.
I'm in the market for a truck, but
I would go Pro 4X. Nissan.
I still think that Nissan platform
Frontier.
looks good.
I do
That
too.
Ranger
I
Raptor-
drove
And then
a-
if they would release what was that SEMA with the V8 in it. Oh,
That Ranger Raptor is supposed to have a 3-liter twin turbo?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the only thing that I worry about the smaller
3.5.
motors, and I say this coming from, my grandfather had those Chevy Express vans with a 6.0 liter in them, and we never used all of that motor. And he's got 1 million miles on one of them and 900,000 on the other. So the only thing that I'm worried about the smaller motors is that they're always going to be maxing out. And so
Always.
I don't know that their longevity is going to be there.
Yeah, but
and we'll find out.
They're pairing it with the 10-speed. I mean, it never.
Yeah.
It never
I'm still.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
not
I still
convinced.
ping pretty high RPMs. You know what I mean? When I'm trying to do something, when I need to do it fast. But I look at it like. Go ahead, Lee.
I was at when I'm at 70, I'm doing about 1750 to 1800 on the RPMs.
Yeah, and that's
it doesn't sound like it.
line.
I mean,
whenever we're hammering the gas, I mean, that's the good thing about the 10-speed is there are a lot of gears. But the problem with the 10-speed is there are a lot of gears.
There's a lot of moving parts.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can go, grenade inside that truck. But I look at it this way. I don't keep vehicles long enough to worry about the longevity.
There you go. There's that. There's that.
I mean,
he trades vehicles with the warranty still is quit, man.
Needs new tires, needs a new vehicle.
Yeah.
So I could tell you right now, the most miles I've ever put on a vehicle is 68,000 miles.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Damn.
Your JKU?
You haven't even broken them in yet.
Yeah, my JKU I had for 3 years. I put 68,000 miles. Now the
Ryan
Tesla,
Null's selling
I
that
put
138,000 on it now.
Yeah, Ryan Null's selling it with 138,000 miles on it now. But the Tesla, we have put 40,000 miles on that, or excuse me, 24,000 miles on that car since April.
Damn.
We bought that car right before we went to Moore. We were going to drive it to Moore. And we've put almost 26,000 miles on that car.
Dude, I have 4,200 on the Bronco already.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can tell you, like, as far as longevity goes, that's never been a. Now, when I get older and I get out, and I get out of the build stage, you know what I mean?
That's especially for you guys. I mean, owning a business where it's all about modifying the vehicles and add new stuff to stuff. I mean, the reality is you're probably going to go through vehicles a little bit quicker pace than than some people, just because you need to update, you need to show. And I'm saying this for your wives so that they know that you guys need to, just buy vehicles constantly and just revolve that door. It's for
I'll
the
tell
business.
you, my wife knows, and she is just as bad as I am now.
Just as bad. Don't let her fucking say it's all you, man.
She is just as bad. Now, I'm trying to think. The record for owning a vehicle has been not quite 3 years. So, and that was the JKU that we built. We bought it in 2017. Sold it in 2019?
Damn.
20?
Remember, it was 19 or 20.
2020.
20.
It was 20.
I think I had the Liberty 5 years. I think I had it 5 years.
I had that. Now I had my rock crawler LJ for, it was 3 years also. But the thought process behind it is, once I'm done with it or whatever, you know what I mean, per se. Once I'm done with it, I want to start like the Ranger. We're putting a snorkel on it, and I can't think of anything else I need to add to that car.
We've both kind of been like that, though. Once the build is kind of complete, and there's really not anything else to do, you kind of get antsy to want to get rid of it and try something different. I mean, that's why I sold my JKU.
Yeah.
It was done. There was literally nothing else I could have done to that except do swap out the 44s for something crazy. I had chromollies in it. I had a big brake kit. I literally did everything you could do besides swap out the axles.
Well, and it's hard because you build a vehicle, you get it to a point, and then you're like, the only thing I could do now is to strip down what I've done and change it. But it's where you're satisfied with it, or you're at least you're like, this is what I was building it for. Now it's time to let somebody else enjoy this, move on, and rinse, repeat, do it again.
But we also kind of moved to the vehicles that we went to because we knew that we wanted to start doing a bunch of shows. And to be honest with you, I was driving my Jeep, and I had it built really nice. But man, after driving it 8 hours to Colorado Springs,
wasn't comfortable. Yeah,
dude, I was fucking exhausted, man. I was just beat, and I had it set up nice. And that's, like with Levi selling his and kind of going to the Ranger, we talked about that, and that was, dude, we're going to be doing a bunch of shows, so let's get something that's still capable, but when we're on the road going to these shows, be comfortable. Damn, I mean, I'm 42, dude. Like, I can barely walk sometimes when I'd get done driving the Jeep at the end of the trip.
The sole purpose for me going to a truck is to get everything out of the cab and to get an out of the cab. That was when I saw Lee's at the Rendezvous, and what was that, 21?
Yeah.
And it rained its ass off. I had all my stuff literally strapped to the top and to the side and to the back of my Jeep, because we brought my wife, my 2 kids, my dog. We brought everybody.
Yeah, your wife was about this close to leaving you on that weekend.
Yeah, she was so pissed because she drove it. She drove it through that big bad storm and, coming through that Mulberry area and all that stuff. And whenever we got everything set up, I realized like everything was soaking wet. Like our sleeping bags were wet, or, it wasn't that the top was leaking. It was just the shit we had strapped everywhere. We had what I thought was a weatherproof bag inside the trash roo. Our cots were on top of the Jeep. So, we could store those, and it literally rained its ass off for 2 days, and it was miserable, and we lived out of the booth, you know what I mean? And at that point we walked down to Lee's truck, and he was trying to sell me his whole truck and setup. And at the time I wasn't really ready to buy it, you know what I mean? So I told my wife, I was like, hey, I think this is the way to go. And she's like, where's everybody gonna sleep? It'll only hold 2 people. I was like, we'll figure that out when it comes time, but now, literally, my truck is 100% loaded, ready to go right now. Like, the boxes are in, the seats are there.
That's like, I went with the pickup truck just to experience the pickup truck because I had the SUV. I mean, granted, it was a Jeep Liberty, like I get it, but it was an SUV, so everything was contained inside the vehicle. And I wanted to go with the truck to kind of experience that. and I went with a rack with an alley cab with quick pitch, same damn thing, quick pitch wedge style tent on top, and now I'm like, okay, now everything under there's open and exposed to dust and the weather and all this kind of stuff. So the next thing that I'll do is get rid of the rack and get rid of the tent and go with something like either something similar to an alley cab, slide in canopy, whatever. Go fast.
Have you guys seen that new one?
I'm not
Michael?
real big on the go fast right now because I don't think that they're insulated at all.
What's that new one that's the guy's been pushing for like $5,000? It looks like a go fast.
Yeah,
it looks like an AT. They're in Colorado.
Yeah,
I see them on Facebook Marketplace all the time. And matter of fact, on Facebook Marketplace, if you start searching in like Boulder area, you could find the test ones. He had one up the other day for like $2,500. That I should have just went and bought because I could have taken it down to and just resold it. But he's had quite a few test runs, you know what I mean? And I think he's got it locked in. It looks pretty legit. And
it looks like a go fast and an AT combo.
Yep. I think the combo, or I think it's right around 5,500, I think is what the sticker price is.
If he sticks with that, he's going to put a hurting on some other people.
You're absolutely right. He will. If that price point, sticks.
But he's got to have the quality. He's got to have the customer service. I mean, he's got to have a lot of other things to go along with it. But if he can,
there's a competitor that makes a Jeep hardtop replacement that competes against Ursa Minor, and it's like an ABS style plastic top and stuff like that. So it's lighter than an Ursa Minor, but it's cheaper that he's trying to compete with Ursa. But honestly, I've seen them, and they look like shit. Looks like a big.
The one that's real tall.
Yeah, it looks like a big ass bubble sitting on top of your Jeep.
I want to say there was one at Moore this last year.
There was one at Moore this past year.
I did not see
on a red. Yep, on a red on JK. It was actually parked where you guys were the year before, right next to where you guys were at this past year. It was just right around the corner. But
and it's not as good a quality, I don't feel like, as an Ursa Minor. There's things that Ursa Minor could improve on. But you know what I like about that is that other people are starting to do it, which forces these companies to make a better product, like do something different. Add to it. Like I was talking with Ursa, just adding a rain fly to that back section would be huge, man. Would be huge whenever you're out in shitty weather. But I like that there's people out there doing that stuff because it forces them to not just stick with the norm. Now we've got to do a few things to keep
like
going.
Somebody just posted about the Herca. That's it. I love it. I mean, the Herca is a great idea. I mean, I just one thing I saw the other day that somebody put snaps like actually on their vehicle. It was on a Gladiator. And he's like basically screwed in snaps along the back end of the Gladiator and then pop riveted snaps onto the back of the Herca. So everything snapped together real tight. And that was the only thing I didn't really like about the Herca was so much canvas.
Well, it doesn't insulate. Okay, look, I think it's a neat concept. I like the way it looks, but it doesn't seal up enough for me. It's just there's too much airflow, and that with that tailgate down and it droop down around it. I'm sure there's some other things that I probably haven't seen or don't know, in all fairness, but I've looked at it at least close enough to know that there's a lot of airflow there.
Is that one that we saw that was right across from us?
Okie Overland.
Okie
Overland had one.
I thought that was a really cool concept. It looked good, but I agree with you. Like, how does that seal off at all?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's a way. They probably have, I'm sure there's some kind of way. But the one thing about the Alucab is once you get that thing on there and you get it sealed up with, some butyl tape and those little places, man, that sucker.
Well, but I think it just comes down to what kind of wheeling or camping is the person wanting to do and What kind of conditions are they wanting to go in? That's where I was getting with the Go Fast. The Go Fast, I just don't think there's any insulation to it. I
There's not
feel
much.
I
Not
feel
much.
like
there's
the
not much-
canvas, the tin itself seems really flimsy. It may be strong as hell, but it just doesn't seem robust. And it may be
Yeah.
where the person that wants the alley cab is camping a completely different kind of camp
But
than the person wants to go fast.
you run into.
Well, what about the
there's
Pacifica?
There's pros and cons.
The
With both.
Pacifica, I think, is pretty cool.
Now there's pros and cons of both, Brian. I think there's three major players in the canopy camper gang. There's Pacifica, which I can't remember the first part of it. There's AT and there's Alucab. Those are the three major players. Everybody's competing against them. As far as quality, as far as design, as far as how everything works, those are the three major players. I've looked at all of them up and down, sideways, and other. I mean, I changed my whole setup in order to go to a canopy camper of somehow, some way.
Well, you were this
But
close.
I didn't like
with the Go Fast, and then we sat there and chatted about the Alucab for a long time, and the fact that Alucab, has that full size door on the back that you can seal off and basically just walk into the back instead of having to roll over the top of your tailgate every single time you want to get into the damn thing. I mean, little things like that add up,
But I'm gonna be honest
and
with you
speaking
guys. You can't get up in the Alucab if you're high. I'm just saying. You have to sleep in the bottom.
Try crawling into an Ursa Minor when you're high.
Yeah, I can't imagine getting into an Ursa Minor. I crawled into Randy's. The first time I'd seen it, and I was like, this could be dangerous drunk. I wanted to get back to the AT. So you talked about, that's one of the three. Which one of those do you think is the best option, whether it be the Summit, the Atlas, or the other one, the one that I like the best?
Habitat.
The Habitat.
So personally, for my setup, I would go with the Habitat just because there's so much room in a Habitat. You can make it sleep for. You can do skinny guy camper. You can do a lot of things with that. Now, I like the Atlas. If it was just me and my wife, that would be my choice.
Mm-hmm. And let's be clear. The Atlas is the one that the whole thing pops up, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the full wheel camper. You know what I mean? Of the
because the Summit's the wedge style.
Yeah, and he just commented about Skinny Guy. Skinny Guy's a slide-in. It's not a canopy camper.
Right.
If we start talking about slide-ins, it's a whole nother level. Lee and I saw some slide-ins that were just. Lee and I saw some slide-ins at Expo Mountain West this past year that would absolutely blow your mind.
I'm just not sure about the Skinny Guy. I'm not sure about how you get in it.
It's just
like from
it's
the
a ladder.
side with that little. When I crawled in there, it just felt kind of weird. I'm sure it's
feels
something
like you're
you get
on
used
top
to.
of the bed.
Yeah.
But
I love the design.
Bed, you're way high up. Yeah, and it's like a slide in. I mean, it's super cool. But when it comes to canopy stuff, where you can kind of build it out yourself, you can kind of you have options, what I mean with that, whether it be goose gear or whether it be, Mandy and I, my wife and I spent a day and we literally put a floor in ours, linoleum, based. We did a big cabinet, pull up cubby thing to hold all of our chairs and tables and everything. And then we did another like port, because my biggest thing when I'm camping is dirty laundry. I get dirty when I'm camping, you know what I mean? And I hate gross underwear just floating around in my either in my bag or the back of the truck, or dirty socks, you know what I mean? So we actually built a laundry hamper, like just to pop up, throw your laundry in there, and and that's something that I wanted to do personally, was build out my own setup, because I wanted the fridge. Everything I look at Goose Gear, the fridge goes right behind the cab.
Yeah.
Everything I looked at, every aftermarket thing that you could buy for the bed of your truck. You put the fridge right in the center of the bed. And if your truck is dirty and you just want to get a drink, you don't want it mud all over your, front of your chest,
in there.
reaching in, or you have to get all the way into the back of your car truck to get something out of the fridge. So I wanted my fridge easily accessible right next to the window, and that's how we built it. I mean,
so
I am super
let me ask
happy.
you, on your Audi cab, do you have the new port hole up at the top for the air conditioner tube?
I do not. No.
And that is
The Audi cab. The Audi cab canopy doesn't have that yet.
It's coming, but I thought they had already. Yeah, it's coming. Man, that's really cool.
So.
Now you brought up slide ins. I have been looking. Not that I'm going to purchase anything. Let's just clarify. But I've been looking at like the Kimbo versus the Scout versus the one that now AT has. What do you think about those? And I'm not talking about the 4-wheel camper ones where they pop up. I'm talking about it's a solid feature on the top. What do you think about those?
I don't think that those are capable of wheeling. I have a hard time believing that I could take a Scout on the top of my lifted Ranger down Imogene Pass and feel comfortable doing that. Or some of the places that we go here in Colorado are legit off-road trails. I mean, I've taken all kinds of stuff.
Damn.
The nuclear war is happening right now.
Yeah.
So is it a silver alert? Child abduction.
Child abduction.
Somebody
Talon D has the Kimbo on his Talon Sai, I guess, has the Kimbo on his Tacoma. And he's taken it out quite a few places. Now, I haven't.
Has he listed what he did to his Tacoma to do that?
Oh, I'm sure he's got full build spec on all the stuff, but
I don't think I wouldn't. There's no way that helps. I mean, when I feel off camber right now in the Audi cab, it's off camber. I mean, and I have heavy duty springs and all that stuff already, and it's sketchy, man. It is sketchy. I couldn't imagine having 2.5 more feet hanging off the top of my truck.
No, and that's like, one of my concerns. Like looking at it, that's where I'm like, that's.
And if you enjoy Arkansas, there's no way I would.
There's no way you're going to do those trails.
Well, here's the thing about them, though, is, I've been studying these slide-in campers because that's probably what my next one will be, is a slide-in style camper, but not your traditional, not the big bulky ones. Levi probably remembers, and Brian may have seen these too, but at Mountain West, they had the Loki camper. Which was that fiberglass thing that they wanted $70,000 just to start.
Oh, you're so awesome, though.
Here's the thing.
Here we go.
This is where I get on my rants. I like to see a company be innovative and make money. I hate to see a company try to screw everybody over. That camper is a fiber splicing camper shell.
I know. I thought you were talking about that.
No,
big ass white one we looked.
No, the Loki camper is the one that's a little bit more. It's bubbly. A little more narrow. Yeah, and it's
still stuck on $70,000.
They had the blue Ford, and it was on there, and it has the topo
here's
map.
The deal.
And
Lee kind of found out where they're manufactured from.
They're made in Canada. I could have one delivered to my house for $10,000.
Just the shell, not kitted out.
Right, not kitted out, but just the shell.
Yeah,
they're taking the
$10,000.
Yeah, you're gonna put 60,000 back into it.
You're gonna put 60,000
in there. And stuff?
No, for $10,000, you could go to any outfitter like Van Do It or something, and say, "Hey, here's $15,000." Like,
or I could go to my garage and fire up my CNC and build that shit myself.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's that's like when me and Levi were at Expo Mountain West. We ran into a company called Red Tail. I'm not knocking on them.
Oh yeah,
they made a badass rooftop tent, but it was $30,000 for a rooftop tent.
Here's I totally agree. Totally agree with that statement. But here's where I love it, is that they have pushed innovation so far that price, there'll be competition. That price will be adjusted. And but what you're getting in the red tail, and I'm a big fan of them. What you're
Right.
getting in a red tail is a teardrop trailer without the kitchen on top of your truck.
I agree.
It has the battery, it has
air
the heater,
conditioner,
it has
heater,
everything in it.
I agree, everything.
But I think
But
the price tag, like there's no one
But my
going to
thing
buy it.
is,
But he
when you
comes
get
from
the price-
the Earth Roamer world. Like
when you
that's
get
where
the
he
price
goes.
tags, like I agree with Earth Roamer too. The problem is when you get the price tags like that, that is no longer a hobby. That is your fucking that's all you do.
That's
Not even
Well, that's
the
hobby
mark-
for a different class.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are people out
for
there
a
that
completely
$30,000
different class
ain't
thing.
shit.
Absolutely, a
Yes.
completely different tax bracket.
Yes.
There's people like Lee that'll drop 30 grand on something and not even bat an eye.
Well, right. So I believe in the
And then
capitalism.
complain about it.
Yeah, the capitalism part and free enterprise and all that stuff, I think is great, but I think there's just a common sense point of
Well, here's the problem with the Loki that I think you're getting to.
of making money and then raping.
Here's the problem with the Loki that I think you're getting to is it would be one thing if Loki built it,
Invented it.
innovated it. They were the ones that created it, and this is what our expertise has gone into. They're basically buying it from somebody that's already making it and then upgrading it. Whereas Redtail is building it all, and that's a carbon fiber rooftop tent. I mean, it's not. It's just a different thing. It's a different beast altogether because they're pushing innovation, whereas Loki is just we're going to buy this existing thing and just
now,
put lipstick on it and make it a little bit better.
In fairness to Loki, they've spent time designing and they have a pretty cool thought process behind how they've laid it out. But I have to go back to there's a Red Arc Red Vision system. There's 400 amp hours of battery. There is a mini split style air conditioning system and a Webasto heater. And there's some really cool little features with it. I mean, induction ovens and things like that. But the 8-footer starts at $69,000. If you totally dress it out, you're almost to 100. I don't understand how you take and this thing's called a space camp, with a K with a camp. Go look it up. These things are fiber optic splicing, fiberglass contractor shells, but they're big. I don't understand how you get that kind of, how you justify that, but apparently people don't do the research and they're paying the money for it.
Well, the people that can't do it on their own, the people that are saying like, I'm going to go full time in 60 days. You know what I mean? I'm going to sell everything I own and I'm going to buy this camper. I'm going to go full time and van life it for the next year. Like those are the people that are buying that trailer.
Right. But you also have
camper.
You also have the other side of the coin, which this is one of my other big things is I'd rather keep your Ranger or your Bronco or my truck or even Michael's truck and put it on the trailer because I could, well, it's a Nissan, Dick, but, but I could go out and spend that $70,000 on a 43-foot diesel pusher and haul my truck around wherever I want to go. When I get there, use it for a base camp and then go wheel it.
Oh, I agree. And it's just like
the recliner with your feet up.
Michael knows.
That in 5 years ago, before this United States went ape shit about overlanding, like we could have probably gotten that camper for $25,000.
Yeah.
The thing with like, just look at Mercedes in the Sprinter vans.
Yep.
Like a Winnebago Rebel is $170,000 right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even then, you can't even hardly order a Mercedes van right now. You can't buy one.
Yeah, that out.
I tried to go down and order one. The first guy told me it was going to be 6 months. Well, I was like, all right, fine. Then the manager calls me back. He's like, dude, it's 2 years and you're not even going to get this drivetrain. You're going to have to take the new all-wheel drivetrain with the 4-cylinder turbo diesel. And I was like, shit.
I tell you what, look what Ford came out with. Ford just came out with their
I saw that
drive van. And
but their van is ugly. Is
This one
Not
actually,
that bad. The new one's
is the
one
new
kinda-
one nicer?
it kind of
Because,
makes the turn.
Okay, because man,
but what's that envelope going to look like in a couple of years when 23-0 and CVT and some of these, I shouldn't say small scale, but like these more traditional style rooftop tents, where are these going to go? I don't see the traditional rooftop tent lasting much longer.
Well,
have you
dude, as a-
noticed like you don't even see much Smitty built stuff? And I remember 2 or 3 years ago, Smitty built stuff tents were everywhere.
Well, dude,
They're-
setting at a brick and mortar 5 days a week, I can tell you that soft shell traditional rooftop tents are on their way out.
that's another place where I think skinny guy is like, I'm just not sure.
Soft shells are on their way out, man. Hard shells are becoming the more affordable, over an Alu cab or over more affordable over in an Ursa Minor,
Yeah.
a full hardtop replacement type of deal. But hard shells are becoming the new thing that people want to look for, and a lot of that has to do with what Levi talked about, like the ease of setup.
Yes,
When you
totally.
have an old tent, it used to piss him off because I would put up my Ursa Minor, and Levi mentioned it with his truck. Like his truck's already set up, ready to go. My Jeep was like that. All I ever had to do was throw clothes in a bag, and I was ready to go. All of my stuff was in the Jeep all year long, ready to go. And that's what people are going to, like the hard shell rooftop tent. You can keep all the bedding in there. Like you literally, all you got to do is throw it on top of the vehicle and you can go. So I think things like that brings up an interesting topic. Overlanding is changing. It's evolving to, quickness. It's evolving to, people are starting to get away from really what's the total weight. That used to be a big thing 2 years ago. Everybody talked about, I want a rooftop tent that's 100 pounds. Well, there was only one tent that was 100 pounds, and that was a front runner 2-person tent. It was 96 pounds. That was all the buzz. Now people are like, well, if it's, a 23-0 Kabari is 196 pounds.
Holy shit.
That's whatever. But it sets up.
I can tell you right now,
that's 15 seconds.
And it's the most comfortable mattress I've ever slept on. I mean,
Really?
I still say that. Oh,
they're starting
God.
to get away from that. They're starting to get away from some of those other things just to go towards, you know what I mean? It's evolving. And I think there's going to be more and more companies continue to come out with stuff. Like I mentioned Redtail. I'm not knocking on Redtail. It's just a start for them and it's innovative.
They're getting more they're starting to get into the van world because they're putting that tent on top of vans. Like they're outfitting vans where you can
saw that.
And that's perfect if you got a family, because then you put the kids up there and you're sleeping in the comfortable bed in the van.
And you still never.
What's $30,000 whenever you just bought a $200,000 van, anyways? You know what I mean?
You put it in the financing anyway.
Yeah.
But
put it in that RV financing for 20 years.
What I like about where this industry is going, I think some people are starting to phase out. I would say the COVID people are starting to phase back out. I could see that just over this past year at shows.
Look at all the shit that's for sale out there. All the vehicles and rigs and complete setups that are for sale right now. It's mind blowing.
And I think the people that really enjoy it and really are going to stick with it are the ones that are looking for that higher end item now. You know what I mean? They did the Smitty built tent. They built out a trailer. You know what I mean? And they say, hey, I'm ready to move forward. And it's been 4 years now or 3 years now since the pandemic, started, and we're moving on now to 2023. A lot of those people that went out, a lot of those people are getting out of the overland thing, and I could see it every day. You get on Facebook Marketplace and look at tents, and you'll see, used twice, bought in 2017, used twice, and so on and so on.
Yeah,
but you could see it, and full rigs and full built out vans and full built out stuff. You're starting to see it more. But I think there's a younger generation, the millennials, you know what I mean, that are actually going to stick with it, and they're going to actually have a lot of money here soon when they get to their 30s. they're going to have good jobs, and they're going to went out and they're going to go
Well,
out and
the
spend the money
reason why is
on quality
because they're
stuff.
not buying homes anymore.
Right.
Right.
You know, and they want to be mobile. They want the remote jobs. They want, you know, to not be tied down. So they're more likely to jump in that. But yeah, I think that most of them are going to go to some phase of the van world.
It's
More
it's
so
still-
than
And,
what
and
we're
I
doing.
don't blame them.
the industry
But I
is
think those
still-
Scots, I think those sliding campers are going to see a huge increase, whether it be the Kyo or the Scout or something like that. There's a market in those, and I think
The reason the Scout, Levi, I think you're right, is so popular right now because it's kind of a hybrid DIY. It comes with some stuff, but it's made so that you can finish it out yourself. Kind of like
Well,
the
in the
four-wheel
Scout, you
campers.
can put a rooftop tent on,
Oh,
or you can
well,
have,
yeah.
or you
Right.
can have the opening as a fan and all that kind of stuff, skylight kind of
Well,
thing.
look at full campers. You know, a couple of years ago, there were 4 campers everywhere. You get on Expedition Portal and find a new full wheel camper for $20,000, and now, you know, the going price for a full wheel camper is 35, and you can't find a used one anywhere. You can find
Yeah.
like the old ones, like the
ticket tin and stick style, not the.
Hey,
not-
what's that? What's that setup that I'm going blank on his name. The guy we have from Overland Bound on that he got for his vehicle, for his Jeep, I think, his Gladiator. Do you remember what canopy or slide in he got?
It was AT, wasn't it?
No,
Oh.
it was something else.
Well,
Anyway,
while you're thinking
sorry,
about
I figured
that,
Lee would remember.
let me give you some numbers on this Ford Transit. I just looked it up while we were talking about it. This new Transit Trail has a 3.5-inch body lift, 2 3/4 increase in front and rear width on the track, 16-inch tires. It has a 3.5 EcoBoost with 400 foot-pounds of torque, 310 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive with a 10-speed transmission. It has 5 selectable drive modes, so it's like a lot of these other, you know, cars that you can do.
goat modes.
Dude, and it starts at $50,000.
Really?
Yep. And they're cool looking.
Dude,
I'll
and
have
this
to look
new
at the
one,
new one. I don't know.
I'm not joking. I mean, I looked at them the first time. I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
This one, yeah, I've looked at it 2 or 3 times now, but
I think the pinnacle of vans right now is Chad's with living the van life.
yeah.
Yeah.
By far, what he has done with that thing. He's on 35s. Isn't he on 35s?
I think so.
He's on a Sprinter van, and he wheels the living shit out of that thing.
Yeah, there's one there. We were talking that he almost laid it over.
Yeah, he was on 3 wheels. In a Sprinter van, he's on 3 wheels. Or he's got one wheel poking up in the air.
What's funny about his is it's all deleted and tuned and everything. And so you ought to hear it when you get close to it and he lays into it. It sounds like one of those big old redneck trucks.
I mean, you know, I don't blame them. I want to go to the van world whenever I'm retired and my daughter goes to college. We're looking at a van. We've looked at a lot of vans.
That's one of the shows we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to go to an adventure van rally. We totally got off topic of that, by the way. We're going to be at King of the Hammers in February, and then we have the Adventure Expo,
the California Outdoor Adventure Expo in Pomona in March.
Right on. You got to say hi to Trail Chasers for us.
And then we'll be at the obviously we'll be at
more in April.
And then we're working it out right now, but it's looking like it's going to work out. Expo West in Flagstaff in May. And then we're going to be at a new show, which is further proof that the industry is growing. There's more shows this year than there ever has been. We're going to be at a new show called the Outdoor Adventure X Show. That's going to be in Utah, about 45 minutes north of Salt Lake City.
That's in conjunction with Outdoor Retailer.
It is, yeah.
So,
a new event they're wanting to put on.
Outdoor Retailer is partnered with Overland Expo, and they're putting together an actual customer show.
Yep, they wanted to put out something for consumers instead of just the Outdoor Retailer. So that'll be a big show. But that's just up through June. But if you look at those shows, I bet there's expected to be 120,000 people at King of the Hammers alone.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, are you guys planning on going to more again?
Yeah, we'll be at more in April.
Okay.
And you know what's crazy is like we like the Rendezvous, but I don't know if we're going to go back this year.
Yeah,
we'll probably be in California at the Pomona Off-Road Expo.
Dude, I haven't been to Rendezvous the last 2 years, and I loved the Rendezvous back in the day. But
I'll be honest with you, I love Rick and those guys. I love Randy. Those guys are great dudes. They're really good dudes, man. But every time we go to Arkansas, it's shitty weather. It's baseball sized hail, or it's just a monsoon. It's just shitty weather. And what we've noticed is, I don't mean this in a bad way, but everybody that came and saw us at the Rendezvous came and saw us at the Moore Expo.
Yeah.
So it was, we like talking to everybody. I mean, we love chatting with everybody, but from a business perspective, I don't mean it, to sound bad.
The Moore Expo is a buyer show.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And Rendezvous is a wheeling show.
It is. It's a wheeling show. It's a camp and hang out show. It's kind of like
and we like the Rendezvous. I mean, this past Rendezvous caused $9,000 worth of damage to my truck, but and the year before that, I blew the motor. Like, I think I blew the motor in my Jeep, but it's just one of those things where now we just over tap the resources in the Midwest. And we want to continue to.
Chris is really taking it and put it to another level, and he set the bar so damn high it's hard for anybody else to compete around the Midwest.
Well, it compete as far as vendors. I think as far as an event goes, the Rendezvous is awesome.
The Rendezvous is a great community event. Come out, see your friends.
But Moore's a buying show
with them. But Moore is a buying show.
Yep.
But
as a business,
the Outdoor Adventure X show is going on to the exact same time as Northwest Overland Rally, and I talked to the guys of both of those, and they said, well, the Northwest Overland Rally, it's a great event, but it's more of a come there and hang out and chat about. It's kind of like a Rigs and coffee and a walk around, really more so than it is, like this new show that they're doing. And it's kind of the same thing with the Moore and the Rendezvous. It's, the Moore Expo is come in, look at something and buy it, get a good deal and walk away with it. And the Rendezvous is really more kind of became the, everybody just link up and say hi and chat with each other that you haven't seen since the Moore Expo and type of deal. And we really liked it, but we just want to try some different stuff. I mean,
yeah, I remember Brian and I last year, we went to the All for Fun run for Jeeps
in Leadville,
Colorado. We barely brought anything.
Dude, I had my Jeep packed from the passenger seat all the way to the back with whatever shit I could pack in it. And it was blast.
Let me tell you, but that's not a buyer show either, but it was fun. I mean, just the day I got to spend out there was a great time. And that's but we didn't make any money, you know what I mean? And 2023 is about putting the Overland Essentials in a new area, profitable, and in order to do that, we have to do what nobody else is doing.
Think outside.
We have to go out. Yeah, we have to go out and rep companies that we believe in, that they believe in us, and we're going to go out and rep the shit out of these companies. Yeah. And I talked to Brian today on the phone about it, and who's to say there's not 10 more companies down the road that says, hey, we need vendor support. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Why can't the Overland Essentials work that vendor booth for a company that, maybe we've done 4 or 5, just like General Tire. I mean, we've had an ongoing relationship with General Tire, and that's something that we'll probably, once we get the logistics down, we'll try to pursue running vendor space for General Tire.
Yeah.
I mean, And
you
then,
know, and for companies that maybe don't have the manpower to go
Right.
to, you know,
I just talked to a guy today that got a new job, and he's leaving a big company and going to a smaller company. That's pretty big name. They have 8 employees total.
Mm-hmm. Well, they
And
may be able to send somebody out there, but they're not going to be able to set up a booth.
right.
You know, so where you guys could already have a booth set up with product there, and they could send a representative to help work your booth with you.
Yep.
You know,
And
I mean,
a subject matter
that's
expert.
kind of my thinking outside of the box as far as
And
it benefits everybody at that point.
And that's the goal, you know. And like I said, you know, we really like going to shows, man. We like chatting with people. We like to, you know,
Oh,
we like
yeah.
talking
I'm
about the
totally with
products.
you.
We like talking about the products that we have there and answering questions and show off the rigs a little bit and answer questions about the rigs. And we don't get to do that as much at the, you know, just setting stationary at the brick and mortar. And 2023 is going to be fun, man. I mean, this is either going to be a great thing and a great idea, or it's going to be something where we're like, fuck, we really screwed with that one, man. Like, that just did not pan out at all like we thought.
Brian's going to say it's Levi's idea. Levi's going to say it's Brian's idea.
No,
and then,
I was telling Brian, we
we
were selling off everything at the shop, and he was like, I'm just going to sell all these tools in this toolbox. I was like, don't you fucking dare. Because if 2023 doesn't work out as planned, I got to have a plan B. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's either going to be really great or it's just not going to be. But we're excited about it, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, awesome. I think on that, let's kind of stop there. We're about an hour and 20 minutes, guys.
Sorry, damn.
In the show, so let's stop it there, and then let's pick this conversation up, maybe in a month or two, and get an update on what's going on. And at that point, we'll probably have at least a pretty good list of the shows that you're going to do for the year. Yeah. And get excited about all that. So right
Need
now,
to get those on the website.
Yeah, right now, tell everybody other than the website where they can find you.
At the Overland Essentials or at the Overland Essentials on Instagram, the Overland Essentials on Facebook. Google has our numbers on it. Feel free to call us, email us.
Yeah, and still call and order product. They can send it to you.
All of our, matter of fact, I'm getting ready to bill out a winch plate, and a couple other things for a customer that just hit me up today. So, yeah.
Hey, we still
have all our accounts.
Local groups, the Kansas City Toyota Club, and all that type of stuff. We do really good deals with all them. They can still hit us up. The only difference is I'll just have it shipped to you instead of the shop. So, you know, we're still doing all that stuff.
Works out. Well, hey, we appreciate all that you guys do for us, and we hope to continue working together and doing all that. So everybody, just call them if you need something. You know, give them a call and support them. Go like all their pages. You know, go get on the Instagram. Go do the Facebook. Go do all the things. And then whenever they have a website, go check that out too. So hopefully that'll be up and running soon. And then make sure that you go and say hi to them at their booths at all the different events that they're going to be. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming on and sharing with us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Lee, thank you for pushing all the buttons, doing everything that you do. I know that you didn't feel good today, and I kind of bitch talked you into being on. I basically was like, you're always complaining about something.
But you look great.
You look awesome. You look like you're about to go build a bomb and put it somewhere. Or something.
Pull your hood up. Lee, pull your hood up.
Something.
You're wearing a hoodie right now, aren't you?
There, see? Yeah, there it is. Right there. Right there. Yeah. He's kind of looking like Jack Black a little bit.
Yeah.
To be honest, with the beard.
The new TikTok Jack Black.
Yeah, you're kind of looking like Jack Black. Anyway, everybody out there, thank you so much for watching, listening, whatever it is, however you're enjoying this show, whether it's on the radio show website, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube. Make sure that you check out YouTube because for Overland Radio, because you can go see past episodes, and it's the easiest way to do that. Check out All Over Overland on the Facebook, on the YouTubes, all that kind of stuff. My daughter just put out a new video that she edited for me, the best of Sugar Creek Loop. So check that out. You guys are awesome. Whatever you do, make sure that you go all over.